Hey guys, it's Crossroads here. We have new news on PayPal, specifically a big announcement that happened last night, synced with the timing of the close of China's stock market. So, an odd time for an announcement, but PayPal is a very global company with a Chinese presence as well. And they announced it in conjunction with some partners. So, what did they announce? And is this a game changer for PayPal, the company, and also its stock? Let's take a look. So PayPal World is what was launched, and basically what this is not just a partnership. By the way, it's more than a partnership. They do say launch partners include Mercado Pago, NPCI, UPI, of course, TenPay, and WeChat Pay as well. So there's a lot of massive players in this, and it involves about 2 billion people. That's a lot. So what is this? Well, previously there has not been interoperability between some of the largest payment players out there in the world. And so, if you, for instance, are in the United States and you go to China, there's some places that accept PayPal directly, but by and large, you're going through WeChat Pay or Tencent Pay or Baba Pay or something like that. And so you need to figure out a new system. Actually, a lot of it, from what I hear, is not with physical currency, but instead digital. And so it's just kind of one of those places of friction. And so this changes that. So if you go to India, if you go to China, if you go to South America as well, where these massive other players are, when this rolls out in late this year, you can just use PayPal anywhere these are accepted. And so that's a massive unlock for PayPal users, Venmo users as well, that if PayPal is accepted, Venmo is accepted. And it works the other way too, that if somebody is over in India, over in China, is in South America as well, and they don't see that PayPal is accepted, well, it is just because they're on these systems as well. So it's just seamless interoperability. Now, this isn't just a partnership where it's like, okay, well, we'll honor your system if you honor ours. This is actually built on PayPal technology, specifically on a PayPal service. So this is not just them saying, hey, let's partner and all play nice. And this is something that PayPal is really focused on doing. So going back to their investor day, they talked a lot about PayPal One. And let me take you a little ways back here. Actually, this is right here what PayPal looked like before. They had a lot of these disparate systems, just different things that did and served different functions. And there was, prior to Alex Chris, no interoperability at all, which is just silly. You could not send, for instance, in the United States, money from Venmo to PayPal. It's like they're owned both by PayPal. Why can't you do this? Well, a lot of it is under prior leadership, they acquired a lot of things and never really integrated them into the PayPal system. Instead, they siloed them off. They treated them almost like separate companies. And in some cases, PayPal was competing against PayPal. It just, there's a reason why PayPal is a turnaround story instead of a continued growth story. And it's because of prior leadership. There's also a reason why there's only one person left in the entire C-suite from the prior leadership team. So there's been some big changes. Some of that has been enabled by PayPal's stablecoin, but they're basically moving from that siloed system. They announced this back in February to the PayPal One platform, where they've already moved PayPal and PayPal Zoom over. Zettle is probably done at this point, honestly, because the first half is concluded. Venmo is the next move, which they'll have completed by the second half. And that's probably has to do with the timing as well at PayPal World. And PayPal Complete Payments and Braintree will be wrapping up in the first half of 2026. So instead of having all of these different functions on a lot of different systems that don't that don't operate well together at all, or even in some cases not at all, it's all on one platform and it's cloud native. So that's the other piece of this that they built out. And I was like, oh, this is kind of neat. But previously, all their infrastructure ran straight to the United States. There's latency, and that's a problem. You don't want to add any friction into a payment space. And so instead, they are going cloud native specifically, and that's going to help immensely. You can see what they're expecting as far as reduction in latency, faster time to market. And it also enables things like PayPal World. So instead of basically saying, hey, everything has to run through our local system here in the United States, instead, it's a global network at the cloud layer. It also helps them be able to do the interoperability instead of like, okay, let's figure out how to have this one system that's very different communicate to the other. And that really is at the back end of what they've launched with PayPal World. So what does this mean for the company over the short and long term? And what does it mean for the stock? Well, Over the short term, it's good. In the second half, late in the second half is really when it launches. So you're not going to see anything as far as revenue or any changes, until that fourth quarter. And hopefully they have it rolled out for most of the holiday shopping season, if not all of it. They're definitely shipping products a lot more rapidly than they did in the past, and that's a really good thing for PayPal. But as far as, is this a material change in revenue? I think that it's not. I think that it's additive, but it's not like, oh man, this is going to like double their volume or anything like that. It is additive though, just because a lot more people suddenly have access to, especially the PayPal merchants. You have to think about that. There's 30 to 35 million PayPal merchants or merchants who use PayPal that don't necessarily use Mercado Pago. They don't necessarily use Tencent Pay. They don't necessarily use the WeChats. And all of a sudden, those people have access without trying to figure out and do currency conversion, by the way. So it converts it seamlessly from one currency to another. And it's a really nice application too. There's several examples that were given. One of those was, if somebody is traveling globally and they're in China, they want to use and pay with PayPal, all of a sudden they can do that even in places where PayPal is not accepted, just because WeChat, Tencent Pay, they don't have Baba Pay yet, but I think that one's probably going to come because this is a massive thing that a lot of companies will want to be involved in. You can just pay using PayPal. So that's a little bit of an acceleration for the business. Other direction as well, somebody in China, somebody in India that uses one of these other companies, they want to buy at a US merchant or a merchant that accepts PayPal, maybe in Germany. All of a sudden they have direct access. They don't have to worry about currency conversion as well. And there's a lot more too. There's a mention on international remittances. Now, PayPal does have Zoom, but basically this gives remittance access to all these other companies through PayPal and through PayPal Zoom, which is backended by their stablecoin. So they're able to do this rapidly. They're able to do this 24/7. They're able to do this without massive fees. Now, there is a little bit that PayPal does get from this too, but it's just, all these are nice incremental additive things, but that's not really where PayPal is stopping. They mentioned in the announcement, by the way, that in 2026, they're looking at rolling this out for Venmo to be able to use offline anywhere in the world as well. And so just it's a small thing, and you'd think, oh man, this is a no-brainer. They should have done this years ago. Yes, they should have, but prior leadership would not have done this. So if you're here in the United States, you use Venmo, maybe you don't use PayPal. All of a sudden, any place that PayPal is accepted, you can use Venmo for. Should it have already been done? Again, yes, but it's a nice touch. It's one of those things that's helping Venmo scale rapidly and not at the cost out of PayPal, where used to be PayPal and Venmo competed against each other, even though it was the same company. So frustrating. Now, beyond that as well, you're able to use Venmo in 2026 offline as well, which is going to be very exciting. Offline payments accessing through Venmo. And that's not just using a card with Venmo. So that's going to be an interesting piece of technology. But I think that all of those put together, it's not a massive game changer. It's a nice incremental thing. It's really showcasing that PayPal is innovative. It's still very valuable. It's a massive player, and this helps deepen their moat. But where I'm actually really excited is where this can go in the future. And there are lots of hints of that through both what Alex Chris was dropping and saying, and also the press release, and a couple other things that I noticed and thought of as well. So one of those things, let's go ahead and take a look here. He says, this is just the start as an open platform with safeguards. And it is an open platform. So it's basically open to anybody that would like to have a piece. And again, it runs through PayPal. So I'm also kind of curious if there is some incremental money that flows into PayPal when these major businesses are using PayPal World. That's something that we don't know for sure. But even if it's not, this is exciting. So he says, of course, all the safeguards, partnerships, wallets, capabilities, a global commerce ecosystem, which really is what this is. It's massive, 2 billion people, creates tremendous opportunity for responsible and game-changing innovation. And then look at this, agentic commerce, stable coins, etc., and growth, and consumers and merchants of all sizes wins. So this is exciting, not so much for what it brings over the next year. Like that's nice. It's additive. It's good. It's because of where this can go. And so there's a lot of massive players out there that now can partner with PayPal through PayPal World and have access as PayPal rolls out these things of AI agents. They, of course, have their own model context protocol remote servers as well. They have their own stable coin, and all of this is just kind of being brought together in one ecosystem. That's PayPal World. And as more and more people are starting to use PayPal products, these other companies, perhaps they're like, hey, what you guys have as far as Fastlane, that's a guest checkout, which wasn't even mentioned here. That's fascinating. Let us have access to that. That looks like it's a really good technology. And all these things basically are helping PayPal move from just a company that does payments and that's it to a huge player that enables commerce. So here's the other bit that they had in the announcement. Beyond the agentic shopping, they mentioned, the instant conversion as well, in conversation with AI agents in the digital wallet. It says it'll be compatible with the latest technologies and commerce experiences, including over time dynamic payment buttons and stablecoins. So the dynamic payment buttons, what exactly is that? Well, that is something that PayPal has also been working on, that level of personalization, actually in a lot of aspects. But one level of personalization is basically, instead of just having the PayPal button, which has existed for a long time and really hasn't changed, that is now dynamic based on the individual consumer. PayPal has a massive amount of data. And so they're able to tell, like for me, for instance, they're like, okay, Roy really likes using PayPal in these contexts, but in these other ones, he likes to use Venmo. And in this specific type of example, he really likes that buy now, pay later feature. And so instead of letting me decide when I click on the button, it's like, okay, well, which do I want to use here and how do I want to go about this? They actually present me with what's going to be most compelling for me. So for instance, if I'm doing the buy now, pay later thing, I'm like making a major purchase that's over $1,000 and I'm like, hey, I'd rather just pay this over time. Why not? They will show that on the button itself, which leads to less friction and a higher conversion as well. This now isn't just a PayPal thing. This is available, or it will be in the future, with all these other massive players that are just huge across the entire world. And very likely more and more people will actually onboard to this as well for some of that similar advantages. Just the scale itself is an advantage for a lot of these businesses. I'm also curious, since this is flowing through PayPal, how they're going to handle the data specifically. I'm curious if this gives them, there's probably some data that's going to be proprietary and protected, but they'll be at least getting some of the data from these payments that are going through PayPal World. Because again, this is PayPal's own technology. It's PayPal's integration. And so this only enhances that moat and that advantage that they have as far as the scale and size of data, which again helps with everything from fraud prevention and detection to enabling guest checkout through Fastlane to helping AI agent shopping experiences. It's just incredibly clever, incredibly bullish. But yeah, again, that's my take is over the short term, if you're expecting PayPal to do like 10 or 20% more revenue, no, that's not happening. It is incremental. We could see another couple of percent. And they have a lot of other things that they're doing that add another percent or percent and a half here and there, higher conversion there, higher margins here, which all add up to a pretty compelling story over the next 5 years. But what has me most excited is this deepens their moat. It deepens connections to all these other companies, and it allows them to essentially cross-sell a lot of the new, very innovative, very differentiated technology that PayPal has been developing over the last year and a half. So anyway, that's where I'm at with PayPal World. A really interesting, really compelling announcement that I look forward to learning a lot more about. And I can't wait to see where this goes in the future. Earnings is soon. We'll have a preview before that time as well. But as always, thank you for watching, commenting, and subscribing. And until next time, happy investing.